A third of Americans say they'd consider van life, but most people only ever imagine it. This is what it looks like when someone actually builds the dream from bare metal. An empty cargo van doesn't look like freedom at first. It looks cold, loud, and full of questions. Where does the bed go? Where does the power come from? How do you turn a steel box into a place you can live, cook, sleep, and keep moving in? That's the challenge, and that's the promise. Because more than ever, people are chasing the road. In 2024, national parks saw a record 331,863,358 visits. The outdoors is calling, and a van like this is one way to answer. But the real story starts before the first wall goes up. It starts with planning, with measuring twice, with deciding what kind of life this van needs to support. A sleeping space that actually fits, storage that doesn't waste an inch, insulation that keeps the cold out, a layout that feels simple but hides a lot of hard decisions. And beneath all of that, there's a rule every builder learns the hard way. Do the hidden work first. Rust prevention, wiring paths, ventilation, insulation strategy. Once the walls are closed, the expensive mistakes stay buried. So the build begins with structure. The bare interior gets transformed into a framework, piece by piece, until the shape of the future starts to appear. Every cut matters. Every board earns its place. The van stops being an empty shell and starts becoming a living space. That's the magic of craftsmanship. It's not flashy at first. It's quiet. It's measured. It's a line drawn here, a support fitted there, a curve matched to the body of the van, so the inside can finally make sense. Then comes one of the most important layers in the whole project: insulation. This is where a campervan stops being just a box on wheels and starts becoming a place you can actually stay in. Because the biggest enemy isn't always lack of space. Sometimes it's moisture you can't see, heat you can't feel, and condensation forming where warm air hits cold metal. If you don't control that, the build can look perfect and still fail quietly over time. So every gap gets considered. Every cavity gets filled with purpose. Light, compressible insulation works especially well in awkward curves and hidden spaces because a van is never just flat walls and easy angles. It's ribs, corners, and compromise, and the builder has to make all of that work together. Now the inside starts to feel less like construction and more like comfort. But comfort alone isn't enough. A real travel home has to be safe. That's where the unseen systems matter most. Power is exciting until it isn't. RV fire data shows how serious these risks can be, with thousands of fires each year and real damage behind them. The danger isn't just dramatic, it's practical. That's why the electrical work has to be done with discipline. Fuses go close to the battery. Wires are protected. Connections are thought through. The goal is simple: keep the cable from becoming the fuse. It's the kind of detail nobody notices when it's right, and everybody regrets when it's wrong. And then there's air, which people forget until they shouldn't. Carbon monoxide has no smell. Propane has its own risks. Smoke and CO alarms aren't glamorous, but they belong in any build that's meant to be lived in.
There was once a day.
If there's a cooking system, detection matters. If there's a sleeping space, escape routes matter. Safety doesn't ruin the dream, it makes the dream possible. With the hidden work handled, the build can move into the part everyone loves to watch: the furniture. This is where the van starts to become truly personal. Storage is carved into the layout with intention. Drawers slide into place. Cabinets take shape around the wheel wells. Every compartment has a reason to exist. In a tiny home on wheels, wasted space feels bigger than it would anywhere else, so every inch has to earn its keep. And that's especially true when the bed goes in. The sleeping area is more than a place to crash. It's the anchor point of the whole conversion. It defines the rest of the interior. It tells you how much room is left to move, where you can sit, and how the van will feel after a long day on the road. Build it right, and the whole cabin becomes calmer. You can almost feel the logic of the space clicking into place. First came the empty shell, then the frame, then insulation, then storage. Now the van has a real center. At this stage, the project shifts from engineering to atmosphere. Finishing details matter more than people think. Trim hides rough edges, panels clean up the walls, hardware makes everything feel deliberate. Soft lighting warms the space. Surfaces get refined until the whole interior stops saying project and starts saying home. That's the satisfying part of a build like this. Every visible choice is backed by hours of unseen effort. The nice finish isn't random. It rests on the structure underneath it, and because the builder respected the order of operations, the final result feels solid instead of rushed. This is also where the emotional payoff begins to hit, because by now, the van doesn't just look different. It feels different. A bare cargo bay once held nothing but echoes. Now it holds the possibility of breakfast on a trailhead, a nap beside a mountain road, a rainy night with everything you need already inside. That's why people are drawn to van life in the first place. It's not only about smaller space, it's about greater reach. It's about taking your home with you. And that freedom has a practical side too. Public land rules often limit dispersed stays in one place, which means a van like this is built to move, to adapt, to keep rolling. This isn't a cabin you visit once a year. It's a home designed for the rhythm of the road. So when the last piece goes in, the whole project stands for something bigger than carpentry. It stands for patience. It stands for problem solving. It stands for the belief that a plain vehicle can become something deeply personal if you're willing to do the work. And then comes the reveal. This is the moment every build is working toward, the moment the door opens and the van is no longer a van in the usual sense. It's a travel home. A compact, functional, carefully built space that can carry someone toward new places without giving up the feeling of home. You can see the craftsmanship in every corner. The storage fits, the bed is ready, the finishes tie everything together. The space feels intentional, because it is. Nothing here happened by accident. What started as an empty shell is now a place with a purpose. And that is the real satisfaction of a DIY campervan build. Not just that it looks amazing, but that it works. It holds your gear. It gives you a place to sleep. It keeps the road ahead open. It turns effort into freedom. That's the dream. And here it became real. Start with the unglamorous checklist.